This is the Sports Sit Down with Mike Damergis.
Mike Damergis along with Clark Bartram here, the health guru to the stars out in California. You have your own TV show, YouTube channel, you're an author. But most important, Clark, you're keeping men in shape, and that's the goal that you're doing and trying to express to people.
Absolutely, brother. And, I got to start with myself. So that's the number one person I'm keeping in shape is me. And then I get out there on the internet, guys see me, they're like, this dude is 60 and he's in that kind of shape. Maybe I can trust him. So I just got to get them to know me and like me first. But the trust factor is there for sure because it's what I do.
Well, I'm a few years younger than you, but you're in way better shape than I am. And one of the things that I think a lot of men need to be concerned about, and I ignored the numbers. I could tell you stats from years ago, 40, 50 years ago, but I ignored my cholesterol numbers that the doctor was throwing at me for years, and it wound up affecting me. Where at 50 years old, I had a heart attack, stents, and then just recently I had a pacemaker put in. So you really have to watch the numbers, and staying in shape and dieting are a good way to naturally keep those numbers down. Talk about what you know about keeping cholesterol down and staying healthy that way.
Well, you said it yourself. Nutrition and exercise are the key. Food is medicine and exercise is an absolute that we must do on a daily basis. And people start making excuses. Oh, I'm too busy. I don't have anything available to me. I don't know what to do. All of those are lies. It's just BS people are telling themselves when it's not that hard to exercise. Exercise is simply movement. So if we stood up and sat down right now 10 times with the intention of making our legs stronger, that now becomes exercise. But the human body is so adaptive, we stand up and sit down all day long, but it doesn't change us. But the minute you shift your mindset to, I'm going to make this do something for me, it's amazing, Mike, what can happen, man. And then food is the same way. People, we get in a rush, we eat all of this packaged stuff and stuff that's void of any nutrient. We don't take our time, we don't give thanks for it. So we've shifted our entire perspective in relationship with food. So now it's just calories coming in that are useless and end up getting us fat and out of shape. And it manifests in cholesterol, in different things, which manifest in clogged arteries, which manifest in stents.
When I graduated college in 1989, because Billy Vanilli was a big song back then, I had a 44-inch chest and a 29-inch waist. And now my chest and waist are slightly opposite. I'm sure a lot of men could relate to that. How do we somewhat get back to what we were? And what are the initial steps that you talk about to get back to somewhat of our glory days, if you will?
Yeah, you make a decision to do it. And you need to understand that we get one chance at this life. And by the time we get to be our age, you stated you're a few years younger than me, but you'll be 60 before you know it. And if you look at the road of your life, there is more road behind you than there is ahead. So at that point, you have to determine whether or not or how you want to live out the rest of those years. Do you want to be out of shape and lacking confidence, not wanting to take your shirt off at the pool, having issues, being on prescription medication? Or do you want to be fit, healthy, confident, and pop your top anywhere and go, yeah, man, this is me. Look, I look great, not even for my age. One of the biggest compliments people try and give me when it's actually not a compliment at all is, Clark, you look good for your age. No, I look good, period. It doesn't matter what age I am. And the reality is I shouldn't be an anomaly. I shouldn't be a guy that stands out on the beach at age 60 looking the way I do. But the unfortunate truth is I am, because the majority of guys my age don't look this way because they bought into a lie of age. They've let themselves go, and not for reasons of being lazy necessarily, Mike. It's for reasons of being busy and putting their families in front of themselves, putting their business, their career, and all of that. And all of those I get and understand and appreciate, but I catch men on the tail end of that. When they've made the millions of dollars, when they've bought the homes, when they've divorced the first wife, and they're looking for the 25-year-old second wife. Now suddenly they're wanting to get fit. So I catch them on that part and I hear the stories. I know what's going on. It's what I do every single day. Matter of fact, while we're talking right now, my notification came up on my laptop and I saw a guy. I could read it. My eyes are great. He was thanking me for helping him lose 50 pounds. and he bought me a gift certificate for $250 to a local restaurant. I just saw it right here pop up right now in this moment. So this is what I see every day. So my point in saying that is, it's possible. It's possible to make this happen. And that's my job, is to make men believe.
What are some easy steps that we could start with that are kind of baby steps or just initial steps to kind of get going? We start.
What I would do right now,
waking up,
Mike,
first thing.
yeah, based upon my experience, guys, is a lot of guys have enough discipline to make it through the day, right? Because you're busy and things are going on, and we naturally intermittent fast just by nature of being a human. So the first step that I would say that someone needs to take, and this is just an instant gut reaction to your question, is go out and clean out your pantries. Get rid of all of the stuff that is in your house that is not conducive to you living in the body that you want. It could be alcohol. It could be chips. It could be sugary peanut butter. It could be frozen pizzas. It could be a variety of things that when you look at with whatever education you have on fitness and go, is this good for me or not? You'll know what is good for you and not. And then the next thing will become, Clark, well, I spent money on that, and I want to make sure it. No, throw it away. Throw it away, because the next thing you'll be spending on is a doctor appointment, is prescription drugs, is something. So that'd be the first thing that I would do, is eliminate any temptation, because to my first point, a guy can make it through the day, but when 6, 7, 8 o'clock hits, the first glass of wine, the first bag of chips, the mindless eating in front of the television, then they tell me, I did great all day, but I sabotaged myself at 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
I heard that 10, 15 times.
One of the things that hard things I find is, like you said, you're doing fine all day, and then you go out to dinner, and maybe your date or someone has dessert, and I'll just have a bite, and then I have 2 bites, and so on, and that's one of the temptations that I face is you do okay, and it's kind of like a pitcher goes 6, 7 innings, and then you get to the late innings of the game and you blow the lead. It's a blown save right there.
Yeah, and guys do that every single day. I call it the witching hour, where they do great, and then suddenly, like you said, in the late stages of the game, man, they blow it, and then they go to bed feeling like, I can't do this. They're all rejected and bummed out, and they wake up the next day and just kind of throw in the towel. Well, my job is to not let them do that.
So talk about, like, and we get up in the morning. What's a good breakfast? I've heard you can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese, obviously. So, and you don't want to have cereals too because of the carbohydrates. What's a good breakfast to have, and then think your way to lunch and then dinner as well. So take us to what your recommendations are.
Protein. You need some sort of protein. So eggs are probably the best source of protein that you can get. And you could have some bacon, maybe some turkey bacon or something less fat. I would recommend keeping it low carb-ish. So the bacon, egg, eliminate the cheese. Cheese is an inflammatory. It's not good to boost your testosterone. So just small little subtle changes, because it's the small subtle changes, Mike, that are lasting. It's not the big drastic ones. So I would honestly need to look at what somebody's doing in order to give them the real information on how they can make the subtle change. But the thing you want is a quality protein. People are eating overnight oats and stuff like that. Maybe you add protein powder to it, but my choice would be whole natural foods. Try to avoid anything processed as much as possible. Turkey bacon is processed, so having eggs and a piece of toast isn't bad, but it needs to be good bread. Like Ezekiel bread is good, and there are other ones that aren't necessarily cheap, but they're better for you than some of the options that are out there that are even claiming to be good.
Mark, how'd you get into this business here? I mean, we know Jack LaLanne. Growing up, watching him on television, he was the first person I remember jumping around my television set in black and white. I Dream of Jeannie,
Yeah.
Jack LaLanne, The Galloping Gourmet, some of the early TV shows of the 60s. That's how did you get involved with it?
Well, I answered this question this way the other day. I was born. That's how I got into this. I was created to do this. There's no doubt in my mind. But beyond that spiritual kind of out there answer, I saw I've always been a physical guy my whole life. And, sports growing up, the Marine Corps, got into the gym business, got into bodybuilding, got into the fitness shows and things like that. So it's been a constant evolution, literally from the day that I was born, because I never stopped running from the first day I picked up a football and played in the side of my house. I never stopped that activity. And here I am today still doing that. But business-wise, I saw a gap. In sales, it's find the need, fill the need, close the sale. So I saw a need for men over 50 needing a guide, needing an example, needing a mentor, needing a coach to be that guy. I am that guy. I'm 60. I'm in great shape. I could shoot a cover of a magazine today. So I found the need. I filled the need by creating a program called the Maximized Man Elite program, which has helped thousands of men from all around the world already. And then every single day, I just sit here and close the deal by telling men, nope, that's BS. Nope, that's an excuse. I've heard literally everything there is to hear. I've had people say, well, I want to pray about it. Let's pray about it together. I agree with you. Let's pray about it right now. So there's no excuse that a man can give me that I've not yet heard that I don't think that I'm capable of overcoming, because I understand what's at play here. And that's really kind of how I got into this is I believe with every cell of my being that this is what I was created for.
You do so much for people, try to get them on the right path health-wise. You've had to face some health issues recently, and you've been discussing that openly. Why don't you share some of the health issues you had, and what you're focusing on now?
Yeah. So I'm accepting that, Mike, as much as I'm accepting the fact that I was created to do what I do with fitness. I recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And the minute I got that diagnosis, I was like, let's go. Because I know the platform that I've already created is a perfect platform for me to jump off with this next message of get your PSA checked, get your screening done. So I went as far as creating a screening kit right here. I ship it to guys in their house. They take 6 drops of blood on a card, let it dry, ship it back with a self-addressed envelope right here. I'm on a mission to get every man to check their PSA. I was listening to a webinar last night where they said 48% of men don't even know what PSA is or what it stands for or the importance of knowing what your number is, because prostate cancer is asymptomatic. You do not know you have it. It's not like your balls hurt or you got a stomach ache or something like that. You don't know. And 1 out of 6 to 8 men, I've heard different ratios of that number, but let's say 1 out of 7 to cut it down the middle will get prostate cancer. Many men at our age are going to get prostatitis or BPH. It's just an infection or a swelling or an enlargement of the prostate. It's something that men don't want to admit they need to be checking themselves for, because we all have this idea that we're young, we're invincible, and if I can get it, anyone can get it. And people will say, well, good, what good is working out if you got it too? It was just one of those things. I just happened to be the guy. Maybe God said, let's go, man. You're the perfect example of being a fit person, and maybe you'll be able to speak to guys that wouldn't normally get checked. And that's the way my business works. I have CEOs that I can talk to that no other person can talk to them that way, because they're surrounded by yes men. They come to me because I look the way I look. So I have this ability to communicate with people in a way that other people can't, and I use it to my advantage.
A big thing, you see a lot of commercials and ads for testosterone. What are your recommendations as far as taking testosterone as a supplement, and what's the best process here?
Lifestyle intervention is the number one thing that men need to do first. The problem is there's testosterone clinics bouncing up in every strip mall in America. It's a money grab as far as I'm concerned. Yes, testosterone helps, but is it needed? Who knows? Don't know. And just because your buddy got a testosterone shot and he felt great for a couple of weeks doesn't mean that's going to be that way for you. Just because you have low testosterone doesn't mean that you have the symptoms of low testosterone. I don't even think a lot of endocrinologists, well, let me back up. endocrinologists do know, but general practitioners don't know as much about testosterone as you should as a person, knowing yourself. So the number one thing to help you with testosterone is sleeping at night, getting rid of fat around your waist, getting rid of visceral fat around your organs, getting your mindset to know that not just because you're an aging man, your testosterone is automatically going to go down. I don't buy into that. They test these guys that are average. And I always say, well, they didn't test me. I wasn't in that test of every man after the age of 30 is going to go down by 1% every year. That means we're all half the men we used to be by age 60. I don't accept that. And I know for a fact, based upon massive amounts of experience with real men in the real world who have real jobs and real lives, that it can be done without the use of exogenous forms of testosterone, like a shot, a pill, a patch, or a pellet.
Well, Clark, you're doing incredible work and getting the word out there, books, television, and whatnot. You're doing a great thing for people. Our health, we can't do anything without health. And I kind of learned the hard way. I love my job. I love what I do, and I love my family. And that, when you can't show up to work or you can't get out of bed because of health reasons, it takes everything away from you. So the importance of what you're doing is significant. Keep up the good work, and thank you for giving me a few minutes here, Clark.
Absolutely, brother. Join my program, man. Get in my program. Let's get you jacked and ripped. Let's go.